What's going on, everybody? Tried to do another video before and it wasn't working out. I'm gonna try it now. Hopefully, I think I got everything situated with my camera. But what we got going on here, as you can see, I already got the Hobbywing Fusion swapped in. It's just one bolt here, one bolt here, and one on the other side right there. And then you got to swap the gears over. I put the 14 tooth that came factory on the brushed motor, that 14 tooth pinion gear on the Fusion. The Fusion came with this, or I had this 17 on there, so not going to be much of a difference from the 14 to the 17, but figured might help even the slightest little bit with the nice long torque. But that's in, it's plugged into the receiver. Unfortunately, the cord is not long enough to come around and then back in here and through and then plug in. So I had to modify this, and I'm gonna have to try and put something on that little lip. I had to notch out, so this way I could still keep this waterproof, but allow this, like that shorter wire, to come through and do its thing here. And now I'm going to work on swapping the steering servos over. So we'll get back on that and enjoy the ride. So now put this other steering servo here, turn the controller off so I don't kill that battery, and then we could switch this around. I'm going to undo the steering servo, factory one, run this wiring through here and out, and then as a pre-step to help me out, what I'm going to do is that's the old steering servo. I'm going to put this steering servo over here for now, or on the other side, and run this wiring for the new steering servo in through the receiver box for now, so that way I can have the wiring already in there and not have to worry about it. All I'll have to do would be just unbolt the old one and hook this one up, if I could ever get it. Put my fingers on this plug right here. There we go. Now I gotta get the on the other side of the stupid O-ring here. Fun messing all this receiver junk. But alright, got that back in there. Put the gasket back down in its place where it's supposed to be. So hopefully no leaks or water in there when I go through all my stream crossings and whatnot. It'll be a good fine howdy do. Alright, plug the steering servo in over here. And test it to make sure I did it right. Reconnect the battery. Turn on the controller, turn on the ESC, and now this steering servo should move when I turn it, and it does not. Now the controller's on, it should. Oh yeah. Perfect. got a steering servo. Turn that off. Turn the ESC motor off. Unplug the battery. And now we're good. I can put the little cover back on this here schmutza over here. And yeah. I'm not gonna go too crazy right now with the how much of the wiring I'm gonna put in the receiver box or whatever, because I want to make sure I have enough hanging outside to where I have the length that I need. Alright. Now I can put the screws back in this cover, put the cover on, throw all this crap in there, try and get this damn blue gasket thing. I'm ready to just start gluing this gasket back down real soon, because it's going to be a pain in my ass. There it is. Oh, come on. There it is. There. I'll tighten these screws up. Keep that gasket in there and everything nice and tight. Come on, you son of a gun. Son of a something. Alright, let's try putting maybe one of the other screws in. Maybe that might help get it started. This is a pain in my butt. I'm trying to hold the lid down while I'm tightening this. There we go. There's one. That way, that doesn't happen, which just did. The stupid gasket popped out. Pain in the butt. Alright, put this other one over here. That's the only pain in the butt part of this whole receiver box thing. Anytime you open it or undo it to kind of change things or whatever, it's a pain in the butt put back together. But it is what it is. So get that in there. There we go. That's nice and tight there. This is the wiring for the old steering servo that's getting taken out. Now I can put this other part here on. This goes over the back area here and kind of holds all of that wiring and stuff down and makes it a little, and adds, I guess adds more waterproofing to it. I don't know. Now I'll get this all on and tightened and whatnot, then I'll bring it in there and you can see really what I was talking about. I'll show you. I just want to make sure all this gets back together. Now, I know some people do, some people don't, and it's all personal preference, and I personally don't do it, but some things I probably would. I see people use these, and I see people use power tools. I've heard bad things about people using power tools on their screws, especially when it goes in the areas where their screws go into plastic. It's very easy to strip that out, which is going to be why you're not going to want to use it for there. But you know, metal areas, I'm sure it's not going to be that big of a deal. So it is what it is. Now I'm going to do this. motor mount cover slightly, because I have the old receipt. There we go. I had the old steering servo wire crimped underneath there. I did not notice it earlier. When I put the cover back on, the old steering servo wiring was kind of hidden, was sitting underneath the cap, and it kind of was stripping that. Not stripping, I mean flattening the wire. So luckily it happened to the wiring for the old steering servo, which I don't plan on reusing. So now, that way it wasn't a big deal. If it was for the new steering servo, I'm sure it probably would have, kinking the wire like that probably would have maybe caused bad grounds or power issues or whatever. But anyway. Alright. So, like I was saying here, I had to redo these 1, 2 screws there, 1, 2, 3 on there. The receiver locks, lid comes off. You could access that to unplug and plug in your connectors for your motor and your new steering servo. And because this is a sport, not a regular TRX4, this doesn't have shift servos for the transmission or servos for the lockers, because it's fully locked and it's only a 1-speed transmission. Again, which is what I wanted, because that way, you know, nothing you don't need, everything you do. Good to go. Now that this is all done, the motor is back, cover's back on. I got the 1, 2, 3 screws here back on the cover. Everything's tight. Now the next step is going to be getting here to taking the old steering servo off, which is going to be a project in itself. I got to flip the truck over. There's 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then actually they're on top, it looks like. And then I also have to disconnect the steering linkage here. Then I can take the old one out, put the new one in. So that's going to be next. Alright, now, luckily I found out, this is how another reason I like the TRX4. It's really simple, easy to work on. Here and here is 2 screws that allow you to take this body tower brace out, and now you could easily access the 1, 2, 3, 4 screws to take the steering servo out. So I'm going to do that, but first thing, like I said, I'm going to unbolt the arm from the bottom, and then I'll get right back with you. Alright, now we got the steering servo horn disconnected from the linkages. I'm going to undo these 4 screws here. Hopefully not lose any of them. And then the steering servo should come right out, and I could mount the new one in its place. Get these 4 out. There we go. Tilt this to the side, and out it comes. Now I could even use this metal steering servo horn, because it is a metal one, so I could still use this on this new one, or which I'm probably going to use is this one here, which is adjustable, which I'll end up probably having to put on after, just so I can make sure I got it in the right place. Now, one thing I want to do now too is I want to make sure this steering servo is centered. So what I'm going to do, plug this back in the battery, turn the controller back on, turn the ESC on, and make sure right here on the controller this is centered, which it is. Now we'll turn that. Now I know that's dead center. I can turn the controller off. Turn off the truck. And then from there I have to line up my servo horn with where the linkage sits when the wheels are straight. But we'll get to that in a second. So for now, let's put all this back together. Right here. Put our 4 screws back in again, hold that all nice and tight to the car, and from there we'll make our adjustments once we figure out where this is all going to sit, and we know from there where we got to put the steering servo horn. Leave these loose because these holes are sort of wobbly, like oblongated a little, so this way you can line it up where it's going to fit best. So it's always a good idea to not really tighten all these down till you know it's right where it needs to be, and then you know it's going to go right where it's going to sit, and it's not going to give you any agita like it's giving me right now. Can't see anything, so I don't know exactly what's going on and why it's giving me a hard time. Let's try putting it in the front slot. Yeah, it goes in the front one nice. So we'll leave that loose and try and get the rest of these here in from the back. There it goes. Put that one loose. And we'll put this last one in here. And we'll try and situate our steering. Alright, now it seems with the steering servo horn mounted and tightened, all 4 bolts tightened, and my controller on, and it's still set to dead center. From the looks of where this is sitting, it appears that this link that comes up for the steering, that goes to the steering horn, is perfectly right where I have it. So I'm going to put, once I'm done dropping the screws, I'm going to put the screw through the steering link here into the horn, and then the steering servo's done too. So we'll see you there after that in a second. Alright, got it all back together. There's left, there's right, perfect. And the ESC, or maybe the controller, I gotta rebind it or something, because when you go forwards, it goes backwards. And I am going to have to keep playing around and finding the sweet spot for the adjustment on the gear mesh, because it makes a bit of noise. And it's supposed to be nice and quiet. So I'll got some tuning and playing around to do there. But for the most part, it's good to know everything's working. So now I could take the body post mount, bolt this back in with those 2 screws, so I can still have my body mounts that I want for the body that I plan to put on it, which is going to be coming in another video at another date. Perfect. Now I'll just tighten them with the 2.0. Alright, and that is going to do it for that. Peeps. Now, I got some other little stuff to do still. I'm going to have to redouble side tape this power button down somewhere here, wherever I want it or like it, blah, blah, blah. Like I said, I have to mess with this gear mesh adjustment. And, a few other things. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, look forward to the next video where I will be working on, hopefully by then have all the gear mesh, everything situated, reset the controller so when I pull it trigger backwards it goes forward. And then from there, wheels and tires. And we will be doing the body mounts and body maybe then as well, or down the road. I am going to have to assemble the body and I still have to paint it, so there's going to be probably another paint tutorial video on that. But the body is probably going to be the last thing I situate. I do plan on swapping over the rock light kit from the High Trail. That rock light kit is going to be going in here. Then I'll have to get that working as well. So this will have rock light, LED rock lights, and I will be getting a light kit for the body as well, the new body that comes in, and a light bar. And I want to somehow figure out how I'm going to get that light bar and lights for the body wired to either a switch kind of ordeal so that I could turn them off when I don't want them, turn them on, or just plug batteries into them when I want to run them, or whatever the case. But for now, that's that. But we're going to end the video here, and I will see you all on the next one. Peace out.